Hi, I'm Tony, and 11 years ago I left the UK to travel around the world. I spent the first 2 years travelling around Europe and down through Africa on my motorbike. Then I spent a year in Australia before heading into Southeast Asia with my bicycle. Now that the coronavirus restrictions have calmed down, I'm travelling around South America. Hi guys, welcome back to my vlogging series Bikepacking through South America. In last week's vlog, I'd just arrived in Oruro on my way to La Paz so that I could start my new route into the Amazon. This week, I arrived in La Paz and took a few days to rest before I moved on. I decided not to change my front tyre for the Amazon route. I'd heard how hard it would be to get the correct tyres for my bike, but also I got some extra confidence in the tyres after the long road north. The one task that I did want to do was extend my visa. In my passport it says I have 30 days, which are almost over already. So I went to the immigration office and they said that as a UK citizen I actually have 90 days. I asked if they could write something to confirm it, but they insisted it wasn't necessary. I'm just worried that when I get to the border the immigration official there sees an opportunity to ask for a bribe. But let's hope not. La Paz is in a beautiful location. It's in a valley between some mountains. This means there's a lot of hills, so there are cable cars to get around town. Most people think that La Paz is the capital of Bolivia, but it isn't. It definitely feels like a capital city when you're walking around, even though there is still the mix of traditional clothes alongside the modern ones. There are some nice spots to see as a tourist, but they're very touristy. There's a witch market with dried llamas hanging from the shop ceilings. It's worth a quick wander around, but I didn't buy anything. After a few days in La Paz, it was time to leave, which also meant it was time for the worst day that I've had so far. Hi guys, yesterday was a very difficult day. I rode from La Paz to the start of the Death Road. When I looked at the route, it wasn't very far, so I thought one day would be okay. But I did leave late. I left La Paz at 11 a.m. But the route out of La Paz takes you over a mountain. So I had to ride and push my bike up the mountain to then come down the other side. It took me 7 hours to get to the top of the mountain. All the way up, I kept thinking to myself, oh, maybe I should stop here. But then I was already at high altitude and it would have been very cold in the night. So I just kept thinking, no, just get to the top. Coming down the other side will be easy, or then it'll get warmer and warmer. So the more I kept going, the more committed I was to the decision. I ended up sunset on top of the mountain, and it was cold. I kept trying to hitchhike, nobody would stop. But then at the top of the mountain, there was like the clouds that were blowing in, and I thought, oh well, it's just the top of the mountain. I'll go down the other side and come out of the clouds. But it didn't work like that. Basically, all the way down the other side, I was in a thick fog. So it wasn't raining, but there was just water dripping because I was just going through this fog. It was so dangerous because it was dark. The fog, I couldn't see in front of myself. My front headlight on my bike came loose. So whenever I went over a bit of a bumpy bit of road, the headlight would point directly at the ground in front of me, so I kept having to reach down and tilt it back up so it was pointing in front of me. So I was just coming all the way down the mountain, thinking how dangerous it was, just trying to be as careful as possible to make it as safe as I could. And yeah, at some points the road was bad, which wasn't good at all, because I just hit like a pothole as I'm coming down, and I just felt like it was a stupid thing to be doing. But at that point I just had to get to the other side, so I went all the way down to the Road of Death. And actually the place that I wanted to camp for the night was just a little bit into the Road of Death, and I could see on iOverlander they said there was a small town, so I thought, oh well, maybe there's a place where I can stay. So I arrived, must have been 9 p.m, maybe after 9 p.m, and I asked around and there was nowhere to stay, so they suggested that I slept in a viewpoint. So firstly I couldn't find the viewpoint because it was too misty, so I was just like wandering around trying to find it, looked for the position on Google Maps and managed to find it, but I couldn't see more than like a meter in front of myself. So I set up the tent, just laid down for like half an hour, just trying to get some energy back, just trying to feel okay because I felt terrible. Made myself a little bit of dinner and went to sleep, and then woke up this morning after a long sleep, and the mist is gone. And to be honest, as soon as I opened the tent this morning, I felt like maybe it was worth the terrible experience that I had yesterday. So I'm just going to show you what I can see out of the front of my tent. Thank you so much for joining me on my trip so far. Please like, share and subscribe to stay up to date with my progress as I continue to bike pack north into the Amazon and through South America.